Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Sprites of Life podcast. I'm Lucas.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Don.
Happy to have y'all back for another episode. How y'all been? Chris, Don, how have you been?
It's been a long week considering we were trying to travel when the airlines and the world shut down. Y2K happened 24 years too late?
It affected the aquarium I worked at, so we couldn't even sell normal feeding tickets for the stingrays. So if it's affecting stingray feeding all the way up to the banks and the airline system, somebody messed up.
I was luckily on Southwest, which either runs Mac or runs systems so out of date that
It's
it
like
doesn't
Windows
matter.
3, right?
And so, their terminal was working great, but the Starbucks in there was underwater. They were struggling really hard.
Now, when you say underwater, you mean literally or just too many humans?
Oh, just too many humans. Because everyone wanted coffee, but their whatever their system was just completely down.
When I go to Dragon Con, the hotel we stay in, the Westin, their Starbucks is run like a Swiss watch. Like they have an army of people waiting for coffee, but they're sending baristas down the line being like, what's your order? Here, your number this. So literally by the time you get your money, they already have it going. I mean, it's terrifying. So this episode, I decided to hand over to you. You get to pick the topic, and I cannot say no matter what it is, Chris. So
We are no longer anti-cat, aka Lucas's anti-cat.
would my power go out again for a second episode, or would that be suspicious?
Cats are the best. I say this as my dog sleeps at my feet. Dogs are also great. Cats are great. All pets are great.
So we're talking about cats?
We're talking about cats. And not just the little ones you keep in your house, the ones you should not keep in your house, but some people decide they want to.
Yeah, fun fact early on. Did you know there are more tigers in American backyards than there are in the wild?
USA. My friend went to a Buc-ee's in Texas once, and they had a tiger in the Buc-ee's.
No, they didn't.
I think it was a
Oh my-
Buc-ee's. He said it was a gas station. I thought he said it was a Buc-ee's.
And you're like, you know what? This is definitely a Buc-ee's thing.
I think it's incredible. The European mind cannot comprehend it.
I actually ran into somebody at my job who they said they were from Texas and they had a Buc-ee's shirt on. And the person I was talking with, they're like, you could have just shown the shirt and we would have known exactly who you were. It's fine. All right. So we're going to talk about cats. Cats are one of those animals where everyone knows what they are. So it's pretty easy to tell you guys what it is. But there's so much that goes into cats that make them the amazing animals that they are, not just from cuteness, but also their survival, what they can do. Like they really are, and I'm saying this as a dog lover, they're way better predators than their dog counterparts. And we'll get more into that later. Speaking of apex predators, we're gonna talk about sharks again. But I need everyone to be mature. Can I get a promise from both of you to be very mature about this subject?
Absolutely not.
The most mature.
I'll take it. So, off the coast of Rio de Janeiro, there was a study found between 13 Brazilian sharp-nosed sharks. They tested very highly for levels of cocaine in their muscles and their liver. According to the BBC article, the concentrations were as much as 100 times higher than previously reported for other aquatic creatures. So, there's a bunch of sharks off the coast of Brazil who have done cocaine.
Just some cocaine sharks.
Yeah, which is an actual movie, apparently. You try Googling this article without getting that stupid poster. But no, it's a real thing. Like, these
Is
animals
this
are...
setting up Sharknado 7?
Honestly, it's just not even a storm anymore. It's literally just the sharks on cocaine. And it's one of those things where it's funny until you realize where it's coming from. So this is actually a Florida problem too, where people who are trying to smuggle narcotics into the country have decided, okay, let's just take a boat, drop all of our drugs underwater with some air tags or something, so that way the other guys can come and grab it later. Like that's their idea of a good system. The problem is most drugs are soluble. So they dissolve in water, and if there's even the slightest opening, all that stuff is gone. And so now there's issues where these animals are getting hopped up on drugs. And it's not affecting anything truly dangerous, although some studies say that the drug affects it affects animals in a similar way to humans, which isn't the best thing to hear about an apex predator. But I think it's one of those things that shows how much of an issue drug smuggling can be, not just on people, but also to ecosystems. Don, do you remember the turtle that got wrapped up in like bags of cocaine off the coast?
Yep.
There's actually been several of those, believe it or not. Like
Yeah, I
that's
should
some
have
of
been like which turtle.
which one? It's just one of those issues where you don't it's not like the biggest problem in conservation, but it's certainly not great. It is a very catchy title, so I clicked right on it. Like the literal name of the article is Sharks off the coast of Brazil test positive for cocaine. Who is not going to click that?
They know their audience.
They know exactly who they're dealing with. This is fantastic. I mean, the article title, this whole poisoning sharks with massive amounts of cocaine, not great. As far as gaming news goes, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of college sports, but apparently millions of people are when it comes to football.
We have, if you have been absent of the internet in the past like week or so, the NCAA college football game is back. After like maybe over a decade. I remember my roommate playing it in college, but I can't remember if he was playing the most recent version or if it was one of those older ones that you just held on to because the game stopped being produced.
Mm-hmm. Do you know why it stopped being produced?
Because they were not paying the players for their likeness, because college sports used to be really, really awful for players making money, and it was really stupid, and people made really stupid arguments, and thankfully we are past that to a certain degree.
You want to take a guess at how much they sold with early access?
Several millions of
$1
dollars.
million. No, it was a pile of money.
Yeah, so I just found one quick article here. EA Sports College Football 25 sold 2.2 million copies of the $100 version with early access. Then an additional 600,000 people played the game through the subscription service at EA Play. So people are jumping right back into this. This was a gaming juggernaut for a long time. People really attached to this franchise.
I mean,
In a way,
how often can you take Coastal Carolina to the NCAA playoffs?
I'm going to assume by your tone, rare if ever.
Not in the video game.
I mean, when else are you going to see University of Central Florida be anything other than the Disney College? Like, I mean, it's a fantasy game. I would argue that this game is higher fantasy than Baldur's Gate 3.
If you could pick one college to like make the football juggernaut, what would it be?
Ooh. Just for the lulls, just because I can?
What one a school you're proud of, or one for the lulz?
Ah. I don't know if they have a football team.
They have to have a football team. Was my
Yeah,
first
can we
question.
just make it
They
up?
have to be. They have to be in the game.
Ah, fine. I don't. University of South Florida.
Who has the best? Who has the most fun mascot?
So I
Ooh.
am particular to the.
I know the banana slugs are up there.
What college is that? Somewhere in California.
It's in
UC Santa
California.
Santa
Cruz.
Cruz. You see Santa
Yeah, Santa
Cruz.
Cruz.
Yeah, no, I'm changing my answer. I want that. I want that bookworm slug on the top of the leaderboards.
I am a big fan of the University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers, which if you just see their mascot, it's just a dragon.
You know when I looked up Birmingham Blazers, I got actual Blazers that can be bought in Birmingham. Oh, there we go. Man, that is rad. Don, have you seen this mascot?
No, I'll look it up though.
Yeah, I got you. It's in the Discord. Check it.
It is only rivaled. Oh yeah, what do you think about that, Don?
All right, that's pretty
pretty sick, right?
Actually. That's actually
sick.
awesome.
I caught wind of the UAB Blazers. So that's actually, if you know football, I believe it's Roddy White went to UAB, the former Falcons receiver, one of the great receivers of that generation. I heard about them during an NCAA tournament circa like 2015, where in the office we would have the games on and everybody fell in love with the UAB Blazers because of the dragon. And we just followed them the whole I think they won like 2 or 3 games in the tournament that year. It was great. The other college I would throw out is Tulane, which if you want to look up their mascot, it's pretty
How do you
great.
spell it? Tulane?
Tulane.
Oh, Tulane mascot. What is that?
It's a wave. They are the Tulane Green Wave.
I'm pretty sure there's one up in Nebraska or Colorado that's just like a barrel of hay.
I believe it. But yeah, Don, what do you think of the Tulane Green Wave?
Oh, I like him. He's a little guy.
He's feisty and he's got like the old speakerphone. Although let's be real, that speakerphone, like the 2-lane written on it is like if it was actually going to be used, it would be upside down and backwards.
Yes. Okay, but before we wrap this up, special shout out to the University of Colorado, not because of their bison mascot, but from the fact that they actually bring a literal bison onto the field before they play,
Yes.
or at
Yeah.
least they used to. I believe they retired that mascot.
I
But that's
think
still
the
sick.
Air Force Academy still brings falcons out.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I like
Yeah,
when
I
they
got
bring.
to my one of my cousins went there. I got to go there to a game and visit her in college, and I got to meet some of the Falcons.
Do you think like the Buccaneers would be more loved after the loss of Brady if they just brought in an actual chained pirate into the program? It's like, hey, we got one. Go
You
team,
could
go.
you could let him off the chain, maybe.
Little bit hopping around. Just give him some rum and just watch him run around.
Just look at him go.
Look at him go. Every time you say that, I just remember your fisherman cosplay where you had the vibrating magic carp just
Oh
smacking
yeah,
it. Look at him go.
look at him
You better
go.
bring that. You
Oh
better
yeah, I
bring that
will.
strike gun. Oh my god. Okay. I've had my fun and learned more about college football than I thought I would learn in a podcast focused on video
And hooray
games.
for players making money on their image.
Anyway, I guess Chris, this is your show. Lead away.
Yes, so we are going to introduce everyone to cats, or as I like to sometimes call them, God's perfect little killing machines.
That's dragonflies, but you do you.
Yeah, no, I agree with Don on that one. Okay, how about World God Killing
Second
Machine?
place.
Fine.
Second,
God,
get your
God,
server.
God's perfect little killing mammals.
Shrews have a very high success rate.
Yeah, no, Northern Shrew. They have to kill every 2 hours. It's pretty good. Pretty good rate for them.
Cats are perfect, dang near perfect predators that have been designed over years and years of evolution. I believe there were some early recordings of the first felines emerging 30-ish million years ago in fossil records. But they have, I think it's domestic cats in particular are estimated to have a 70% successful predation rate and are estimated to be killing around somewhere between 6.3 and 22.3 billion mammals a year.
I mean, it doesn't even include the bird fatality rate.
This is true. They kill a lot of birds.
They kill a lot. Like, there have been about 30 or so bird species that have gone extinct, and they have been linked directly to feral cats.
Yeah, one of them, the Fairy Island wren, was a flightless bird, and it's like not entirely accurate, but it's mainly attributed to this one lighthouse keeper's cat. Because there was this little flightless wren on this island, and at one point the lighthouse keeper noticed his cat had a weird bird, and he was like, "I should send these off to someone," and he sent it off, and the species was described and declared extinct.
What was the cat's name?
I don't know.
Okay.
Gortak, destroyer of birds.
I thought we could go off and list a few of the attributes that cats, big and small, have that make them these perfect little terrors for the native for the natural world.
Mm-hmm.
So to start, they got big eyes. Not, I mean, there are animals with bigger eyes, but cats have big and honestly pretty cool eyes. So they have fantastic vision, especially at night, and especially when compared to our night vision.
I apologize. It was the Stevens Island wren.
Stevens Island wren. Okay. Did you get the cat's name yet?
I'm trying to find that out.
Okay. So the cat's eyes, first of all, can see in 200 degrees, whereas humans can see in 180 degrees. So they've already got better peripheral vision than us. And when you compare what actually makes up the eyes, humans have more cones in their eyes, which lets us see colors better, but cats have more rods, which helps them see in low light situations better. It also makes it so that their bright light vision is a little bit worse than ours. There's a cool little evolutionary thing that cats have, which is a little thin layer of tissue, reflective layer of tissue in the back of their
Oh,
eye.
okay. So the cat. This is not 100% verified, but it seems that according to most accounts, the cat's name was Tibbles.
Tibbles?
Tibbles the cat.
Tibbles the
Tibbles,
cat.
killer of birds,
Yes.
driver of madness.
So they have this reflective layer of tissue in the back of their eye that bounces the light back, which allows for almost a 50% higher intake of the present light. So they are exceptionally good at seeing at night, and as such, they are exceptionally good night hunters.
Yeah, and that makes sense given the noise that these animals make every night.
Yes. So cats, as opposed to something like a dog, which you also have in your house, have retractable claws. Lucas says you have just
Except for cheetahs.
Except for cheetahs.
read the notes, guys.
Is this in the notes?
Yeah. Uh, so cats have retractable claws. It aids in hunting because have you ever heard your dog walk on hardwood floors?
It's
Yeah,
funny.
it's a good way to know what he's up to.
It
How do you
keep
know he's in the kitchen trying to steal your food? Clink, 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 clink. Waldo, get back here.
it, it also really helps out when I'm trying to put a baby to sleep and the dog just walks around the house. Clack, 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 clack. But have you ever listened to your cat walk?
Don't have a cat.
I have one in my house now. It's very fat, 21 years old, and when it drinks, it lays down. So,
But
kind
you
of.
don't hear it walking.
Well,
No.
yes, unless you hear it unless you have kitten mittens.
Okay.
That was an Always Sunny
That's
joke.
always sunny, yeah. Kitten mittens.
Are
I
you
was
tired of
waiting
your
for how
cat
long it
making
would
all
take.
this noise?
How long did this take for this recording to get that joke? I was betting on it.
It appears to be right around 20 minutes.
My sister tried to make kitten mittens for her cat, but he did not like them.
I did not like them. Cats don't like things on their feet.
I really wouldn't. Yeah, no.
Well, they don't like things being on their feet because their claws are their like key hunting and self-defense tool. So that's also why they have the ability to retract them is they protect them for when they really need them. Now, on the flip side, Don, as you noted, cheetahs can't fully retract their claws. That's because they use them so they can zoom faster. The claws help them dig into the earth.
Cheetah
So it
go
kind of
burr.
yeah, Cheetah Go Burr has feet that act like cleats. Wait, neither of you have either of you been licked by a cat?
Yes.
I have. It's weird.
It's
I don't like it
Do you know why it is weird?
because its tongue is meant for scraping skin off bone.
That is one purpose of it, yes. So the cats, most people call it a sandpaper tongue, but they are the tongue is there largely to help with their hypercarnivore lifestyle. So on the tongue they have reverse facing palpellae or palpellae. I think I said
Papillae.
that right. Yeah, papillae.
Mm-hmm.
Basically these little tiny hooks that face the other direction that their tongue moves in. So when they are doing something like licking the bones off their latest kill, it helps strip the meat off of it so they can eat as much as possible. Alternatively, in a less bloody version, it also really helps with grooming. It acts as a little portable, well, not portable. It acts as a little hairbrush that they can use to
I
keep
mean,
their
I guess
fur
it's portable.
clean.
It's attached to them. That's
I guess that's true.
pretty portable.
Yeah, but it helps with grooming and it helps keep them clean and their fur clean of free of mats. It also leads to some really gnarly hairballs, which are always fun to stumble upon in the morning when you get out of bed and step in a hairball.
Yeah, the cat in my house is named Sparkles. I wish she knew how to do that because we basically have to brush this thing nonstop. Good news is she likes it. The bad
Yeah,
news is it's so much hair.
they
So much.
the tongues also can make them a little bit of cleaner drinkers when compared to dogs. Dogs are real sloppy with water.
Yeah, I babysit a Great Dane. You're not wrong.
Moving a little bit further down on the cat's feet, you have their adorable little toe beans, which other animals have too, but cats also have these wonderful little fat pads that work for shock absorption. So everyone knows that cats, I will say, it's not that cats always land on their feet, but they always land right side up, which seems like a
Mhm.
silly distinction, but it is a key distinction.
Do you want to know what other animal has like weird, squishy, fat feet?
What?
Elephants. So because
Who's
an
not?
elephant is so much weight
They
to
need
walk around on, it basically has built-in fat support to make sure that they don't, hurt themselves just by walking.
break their ankles by walking. That makes a lot of sense. So cats have an innate reflex called the riding reflex, which is very cool, but it basically aids in them flipping if they were to be falling sideways or upside down. If you see the like a still image progression of a cat flipping itself, it's actually able to rotate its front half of its body and its bottom half of its body in different directions to contort itself appropriately to get into the right direction. It's a little cool. So I am not a physicist. It has something to do with preserving angular momentum equal to 0. No idea what that means, but it's a good thing apparently for cats as they fall.
I found an older picture of it and threw it up on the Discord of just what it looked like when they were just dropping cats. Always a good reminder that science every now and again just gets results, but in the most unethical manner possible.
There was one too where they were trying to see why cats always land on their feet, and they drop them on mirrors. They dropped them on their backs on mirrors, and the cats that were dropped on mirrors did not land because, spoiler alert, they were like, the cats could also see and were like, oh, that's not the ground, and then it was the ground.
Yeah, that's probably some kind of trauma for the cats.
Science is not great sometimes.
No, not at all.
So the last bit that I'll highlight is that cats are not typically social. Obviously, like cheetahs with the claws, we have lions. Lions live in prides, but domesticated cats have adapted to being around us. They have evolved new sounds and variations of sounds to better communicate with humans. So if you were to put a house cat next to a feral cat, the house cat might meow, mew, different intonations, the hungry mew, or they're like, hey, look at me, I want pets. But the feral ones pretty much just like hiss or growl, because that's really all they need in their lifestyle. They need to protect themselves and tell things to get the heck away from them.
I mean, there's also a lot to be said for body language as well. Like they do have the different motions they can make with the tail, the hair, the eyes, the face. So it is a lot more. A lot of people look at the meow. It's like, oh, it likes me. Like, no, look where it's stanced. Look how it's moving, because that's going to tell you a lot more than the sound.
That was all I had with the bits on the what make cats some great hunters. So I figured we could now transition into some of the terrific cat hunting Pokemon that we have.
Oh, we have so many. Although I do want to point out, if anyone wants to go ahead and look at the Pokedex, Pokemon hates cats, or at least the people who write the Pokedex do. They really don't like cats.
They don't like them, but I also think that cats are the most represented species among legendary creatures.
I was gonna say, it's like we're gonna pull up some fish real quick and
No,
see
no. I think among legendary creatures it is predominantly cats.
trying to think now. Hang on. Let me pull up all the legendaries now. Don't you go anywhere. Are we counting mythicals?
No.
All right, give me a second. Let's see here. That'll do it.
So we got what? Mewtwo,
Mm.
Raikou, Entei, Suicune. Wait,
Mhm.
Mewtwo, Raikou, Entei, Suicune.
Yeah. We're counting Mew.
Counting Mew.
Okay.
Isn't Mew mythical?
Yeah, that's true. Right, yeah. So Mew.
Solgaleo,
Okay. Solgaleo.
Lando.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's only
That's
one dog. Zygarde 50%.
that's 7.
That's a dog though, so like that doesn't.
No. I wasn't counting Zygarde. I was saying 7
Okay.
is yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm pretty sure
guess. Well, hang
I
on. How
think
about birds? Birds.
I-
1, 2, 3,
4, 5.
4, 5. Just
Eveltal.
short.
Eveltal 6.
Yeah, 6. I think just short.
Just
Just
short.
short.
Because
Just short.
we're not counting the other ones as, or the Galar versions of the birds as separate things. Maybe you
Feel
can
like-
make a case for a dragon, but we're not.
How many of the legendaries can learn high horsepower?
Hang on. No, he's right. Hang on. So we have to check which one of them are horses now. He's right. We've established this rule. Let's see here.
It's just facts. I don't make the rules, but it's science.
I'm just going through it now, nice and easy. All right. So 1. Yeah. No. Yeah. Just 2 of them are horses. Only Regigigas and Terrakion are horses.
Technically, technically the loyal 3 are legendaries as well.
Okay,
if
so
you
then
go.
there's 3. So
Okie
Okidogi is a horse. Okidoki is a horse. Regigigas is, and Terrakion are horses. So there's only
Are
3
the loyal
horses.
or the musketeer guys, are they like deer/antelopes? So I guess that's decent deer representation. They got Zern and then them 3.
That's true. That's pretty solid too.
How many of them are just little guys? Because that's its own category.
Just little guy.
Just little guys, yeah. They're just
Of
little
the
guys. It's
actual
like an entire
legendaries, I
section.
feel like there's
That's
not
the-
that many that are just little guys. When you
That's
get
like
the
the Lake
mythicals,
Trio.
there's a lot of little guys. Yeah, the Lake Trio's official status is little guys.
Oh, I didn't even look at the legend. We forgot Chien Pao.
Of course
Well,
we
we're
did.
gonna get the Chien Pao.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know,
he's
but
gonna
when we were
add it to the
counting,
list.
so that's 8. So that's 8 cats. Okay.
There's a
So
lot of cats.
to make something abundantly clear, Entei, Raikou, and Suicune are not dogs. They are cats. Everyone, I've seen they are called the legendary beasts, not the legendary
I
dogs.
will say, Suicune's muzzle throws it off. Like you got to admit, that's where they hold. That's where the dog camp hold their argument. They looked at that muzzle. That's all they looked at. Okay.
But then also look at the feet.
Okay. I looked. At. I'm not just gonna look at dog feet. Okay. Sorry.
Oh,
Cat
okay, wait.
feet.
We were talking about horses. I mean, even if they don't learn high horsepower, I will say that Spectrier and Glastrier are still horses.
They're still
Okay.
horses.
So yeah, no, there's 5 horses.
Okay, 5 horses. So, legendary beast. We have lions, tigers, and leopards. Now, they are large cats, and these are large cats. And while you might have random offsets of cute YouTube videos like Christian the Lion, these are not really. These are not to be domestic cats.
To be specific, large cats isn't just like a thing that they're big. In order to be considered one of the quote unquote big cats, it's actually all involved in the throat. You have to have the specific muscles and bone structures to roar. And that's what's really important. Like if you cannot roar, then you are not if you're not in Pantheridae.
So cheetahs are not big cats.
They are
'cause
not
they
big
cannot roar.
cats. They are
Neither
fast cats.
are Puma/Cougars.
Yeah, they can't roar either though. So
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if you've ever heard one, they'll meow and it sounds like a house cat, and it's very disconcerting to hear them do it.
I had cheetahs meow at me once. It made my heart melt. But then again, I wasn't on the African savannah. I was doing a tour of their back habitat.
I am
So
less afraid of a cheetah than almost any other large cat.
that's true. They're basically built like drag speed racers. So if you just like punch it, like not to say you should go out to the savannah and start hurting it, but in self defense, like you could
My friend
probably
was
get away.
a friend of mine when she was in Australia. She lives there now, but she was at a place that had like a cheetah rehab thing, I guess, for ones that have been like seized or something. And one of the cheetahs came up and was like gnawing on her boot, and the lady there was just like, no, and she just like sort of slapped it a little bit, and the cheetah like ran off. It was like, my bad, sorry. But yeah, the cheetahs aren't built for fighting.
Yeah, they run. They run fast.
So these large cats, much like other cats, these large cats are apex predators, and like other cats, they are excellent at ambush style hunting. They use a lot of camouflage tactics to hide in their habitats. They have those soft, silent feet pads to get as close before they pounce. Also, lions are not lions. Also, tigers are really good swimmers, are they not, Lucas?
Oh yeah, when you build a tiger habitat, you have to make sure that there's water because they do enjoy a swim to cool off, especially given the areas that they were found in. We'll get to that in a little bit. The areas they are now are definitely very, very high heated areas, high humidity. Being able to soak off in the summertime is a necessity for them.
So, unlike the other two, lions do hunt in groups with their social nature. A cool thing about leopards is they have disgustingly strong jaws. Have either of
Oh
you
my god,
watched
I
a
love it.
leopard haul its kill into a tree?
A
It's
lot of
so
times.
cool.
How much do their prey typically weigh?
I mean, they eat a lot of like mid-size African herbivores. I know.
Yeah, Thompson's gazelle
Thompson
can.
gazelles are little guys, I
Yeah,
will
they're
say.
little, but like by little I mean imagine carrying 50 pounds with your teeth.
Yeah. So
Maybe,
they
dude, I'm built different, bro. I can do it.
so they can haul these they basically load up on the animal's neck and haul it into a tree so they can limit the amount of competition for their kills. But they just like will just climb a tree with a gazelle hanging out of their mouth and post up there and just go to town. It's really cool and very disconcerting at the same time.
I think we talked about this a bit in our Savannah episode when we talk about leopard. Like, yeah, it is very upsetting that you can just look into a gazelle up in the tree and being like, "Oh, I know how that got there,"
Well,
and we are moving on.
leopards will also predate by just dropping out of trees onto stuff.
Surprise!
Yeah, no, they don't scream it out surprise. The surprise comes from the shink of their claws into whatever they just jumped on. They do have retractable claws.
You brought up some tiger facts, so do you want to hit us with everybody's favorite starter?
I mean,
Okay,
saying
saying
everyone's
favorite
favorite.
starter might be a bit of a
Yeah, that's a
aggressive
oof.
take.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite starter in VGC.
I don't know if he's anyone's favorite. Yeah, I don't like half of the mons I use. I use them because they're good.
The reason
That's
it's
the
the
true
equivalent.
VGC, I guess, red pill or black pill or whatever the kids say, is you don't use what you like, you use what wins, and Incineroar wins games.
There's a reason the Golurk Electivire strat doesn't exactly make it when I play, okay? Why do you think I resorted using Explosion because it was funny? You're right. But also because no one would think to be that stupid to counter it. And here I am, losing.
Lucas, tell us about Incineroar.
Fine. So honestly, the vitriol and hatred for Incineroar is ironically exactly what they wanted when they made him. So yes, this
They really
Pokemon
did.
is
Yeah, it really does. Sorry, I'll let you go into it. I apologize.
no. You're right. It goes into it. He is literally called the heel Pokemon. If you don't know what a heel is, you probably haven't watched a lot of pro wrestling. In pro wrestling, the heel is your bad guy. He is the person you are supposed to hate. If you hate Incineroar, you're doing what they want you to do. If you want some famous examples, in the 40s, Gorgeous George was this flaunty, fancy, pretty boy type going on the stage. And to the blue collar folk who just were watching wrestling, this guy is like, oh, what a jerk, just showing off like that. Like you were supposed to hate him. And then you have, like, in more recent days, you have the Undertaker, who just went for the evil occult look to go ahead and scare the crap out of you. I mean, my personal favorite in fiction, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, when they were at the Earthbending wrestling match, the Fire Lord loving Earthbender. That is the perfect version of a heel. Someone the audience is supposed to hate and watch lose.
I'm
And
pretty
they
sure Andre the Giant was a heel.
He's so nice, though. How'd they do that?
And I'm pretty sure The Rock was also considered a heel at some point too.
I mean, at this point, he's a heel in real life. He's kind of a jerk. I mean, I literally just learned about the contract where, like, he's not allowed to lose in a fight, and I'm like, dude, come on.
It's
Get
kind of
real.
lame.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of like, no, I want to see you get the crap kicked out of you. Then you get to rise up stronger, and then it's better when you win. I don't want to see you not.
He'll just that was in Fast. I think that came out during one of the Fast and Furious movies because he could only fight Jason Statham to a tie.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think they
I
both
think
had
they
that clause in their contracts.
so lame. I mean, as far as the other stuff goes, like these animals, like there's not really a lot of tigery things in Incineroar. I mean, tigers are one of the most known animals on the planet. They are a symbol to so many people of, like, power and grace and beauty. And they are one of the four big cats. Now, there are multiple different subspecies of tiger. They each live in different areas, different coatings, and they also are different levels of conservation. All of them are pretty much vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered, or in the case in some in Turkey, extinct. It's been a hard road for the tiger. They are still the largest big cat alive today. And what makes them so good at what they do is that coloration. That orange black coloration blends in perfectly into their back and their surroundings. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop a
Wait, may
picture
I
in.
touch on this real quick too?
Yeah, I
With
gotta grab a
the
picture.
the
So go
tigers and their
ahead.
coloration. Okay,
Hmm.
so tigers, I mean, they eat a lot of things because they're tigers. But tigers eat a lot of cervids, a lot of deer, especially in like just kind of throughout their range, deer, antelopes, things like that, make up a large part of their diet. Deer and like other cervids have like different vision than us. They aren't really colorblind, but their cones work differently than ours. They have less, so they see certain hues much more muted, and one of those hues is orange. Kind of like if you see, like when you see someone going deer hunting, they'll wear bright orange for safety, but also because deer see orange as more of like sort of a muted, sort of grayish almost or brownish. So the tiger being orange and black to a deer's eyes, which can pick up certain colors like shades of blue very well, the tiger's coloration just totally blends in with the background. I'll post a similar thing that
I
Lucas
got the picture
probably
for
will.
you. I already
You
put
have
it
the
up.
picture compensating for
Yeah,
the
it's up in the
deer.
Discord. Yeah,
Okay,
look at that.
yep, you see that, yeah.
That's
It's just
creepy.
a green buddy,
Yeah,
Oh, don't worry. I
green,
yeah,
have
more
the
green
green than
human
brown.
assassin.
version.
Green
Here,
assassin.
find the tiger.
I mean,
I see him.
I see him.
But like, imagine if you're walking through the woods and this is just holding still. Like you're walking, you're moving, you're not going to notice this. As far as tigers go, they are huge. The biggest one can get up to like 500 pounds. These animals are roaming the forest and trees. As we noted earlier, they can swim. Um, Incineroar is none of these things. Incineroar, the only thing that makes Incineroar a tiger is his big cat status, his massive claws, and the fact that he's got a pretty gnarly temper. If you don't know what you're doing with a big cat, you're going to die. Even if you do know what you're doing, you're putting yourself at extreme risk, which is why most places I've worked with are having a no contact policy with these animals. That means that whenever you are with a tiger, there's a barrier between you and them to make sure you're safe and that they are safe. Much more for your safety, because what are you going to do to them? I will
I mean,
also say,
tigers are very intimidating. Also, Incineroar
that's,
does learn Roar, so he is lore accurate.
yeah, that's true. I'll give you that one. But he also learns like all these heal-based wrestling moves. Like he knows Sucker Punch. He'll learn Taunt.
He does
He'll
not learn
learn
Sucker Punch. Trust me,
hmm?
I would know if Incineroar learns
Oh, I
Sucker
didn't know.
Punch.
Oh, what was it? Parting Shot. He knows Parting Shot.
Knock off.
Knock
Well,
off,
Parting
Parting
Shot
Shot.
is just yelling and running away, which tigers will do.
Yeah, that's also a heal thing to do. Yell and scream when you're losing and like disappear to the next round.
Can you smell what the Incineroar is cooking?
Most of the VGC. But yeah, if you all like tigers,
It's funny because it's true.
tigers are endangered due to hunting and habitat loss. If you know somebody who owns a tiger, I don't know what you're doing with knowing these people, but like it is actually
Give me
an
their
issue where
number. I want to pet the tiger.
Stop. Don, no. You're making it worse. But yeah, no, Incineroar is definitely one of those things where, yes, it is very much big cat energy, but it's much more of a wrestler. Like they could have replaced Incineroar as any other kind of animal, and they would have still gotten a pretty similar result.
Yeah,
I
I will
mean,
say, and I'll give a quick breakdown, I guess, in terms of if people aren't familiar with why Incineroar is so good, particularly in doubles competitive Pokemon. Its base stats are solid. It's got good attack. It's got decent bulk, but it's combination of ability and move pool. It has Intimidate, so you lower the opponent's attack stat across the field, which is big in doubles because you're dropping both. It has the move Fake Out, which guarantees a flinch on the first turn, so it's great for helping your teammate use a setup move or something like that. And then it has pivot moves like U-turn and parting shot, so you can then bounce right back out, bring in something into a more advantageous position, bring him right back in to reapply more intimidates and fake outs, and also use moves like Will-O-Wisp to burn the opponent or Snarl to lower special attack. It's just a great supporting pivot. So you see it just slapped onto almost every competitive team as just a nice little kind of glue. Like if you've got a sixth Pokemon and you don't have a fire type or a pivot, you can put Incineroar there and he's gonna be good.
when we first saw that its hidden ability was going to be Intimidate, like even then we could not have predicted how much this thing would take over.
I mean, he was pretty excited. I actually remember Incineroar was announced. It was gonna be legal through an event a week before, I think it was Charlotte Regionals, a few in like 2017 or whatever. Uh with like a week to go. And then Wolf won it with Milotic, who has the ability competitive that gives it a special attack +2 whenever its stats are dropped. And actually, fun me fact, I'd posted a meme like the day Incineroar was announced of because Milotic was kind of considered to be sort of a cool gimmick mon, and it occasionally would get play. But I put it was just like I very crudely Microsoft painted Milotic onto Loki when he's like, "You must be truly desperate to come to me for help." And Milotic had a massive showing at Charlotte Regionals because everyone was truly desperate.
Weird times. Oh well, that tiger's gonna be sticking around long after we're dead. Anywho, let's go on to something a little bit. Let's go a little smaller. Let's go. Let's
So
start like some house cats or something.
my very like I would for a second I was like, this steel cat has got to be pretty heavy. So we're talking about Perrserker, and so I wanted to look up its weight compared to something like Incin. Do you know how much a Perrserker weighs?
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
gonna
assume
Google it. I'm
6
gonna say
pounds.
like 50 pounds.
6
You're
pounds.
not 60. It's a steel cat, Lucas. Give it some respect.
No, but okay.
But do you know how much Incineroar weighs?
82.
220.
Don? 220, 180.
Okay.
And then I went full blown, and I looked up how much the legendary beasts weigh. Who do you think is the heaviest legendary beast?
Of the three, either Suicune or Entei.
Entei. I would call it on Entei.
The two of them are about a 20-pound difference. Entei is the heaviest.
Okay, he seems thicker.
Entei is about 430-ish pounds.
Entei's got a lot of floof though, which was what my thought was.
Yeah.
I will
So-
say it's an accurate, that one's an accurate weight for a giant cat. So, fair enough. Very rare that Pokemon's ever accurate.
So Berserker, obviously we have ties to Nordic culture with Berserkers. It came in during the Galar region, which was sort of the UK, and we also had some Nordic influences throughout the Pokemon. Now, the prevalence of cats in Nordic mythos just shows how important they were to the culture. I believe it was the goddess Freya actually had cats pulling her chariot. Thor had goats, famously, but Freya had cats. Now, cats were terrific mousers for ships. They could protect the food, stem diseases that were spread by the mice. They would just run around and do what they do best, which is hunting all the little critters that you don't want popping up on your seafaring voyages. Norwegian forest cats, which I believe Berserker is leaning itself into, are both beautiful and exceptionally large when compared to other house cats. So they can be pushing around, I think at their heaviest, up to like 20 pounds, and they can be a foot tall and a foot and a half long. If you have not seen humans holding these cats, it is hilarious because they are just so freaking big. Let me see if I can.
I'm pulling
find a
one up
photo.
now.
I mean, my
Hang on.
sister has a Maine Coon that's like 20 pounds, so I have a general idea.
They are like so floofy. I think they are just absolutely majestic.
It is a very pretty cat. I'll give it that. I'm just trying to. Holy Jesus.
Right?
That is a really big cat. Yeah, I just found this picture of this one dude. I'm just gonna grab it. Hang on. I'm just that's a big cat. I'm trying to tell which are photoshopped and which aren't.
No, that seems about appropriate.
That's
for it.
accurate. Okay, that's
I mean,
some floof.
Imagine holding a 20-pound dog. Like, yeah, that's about it. And then add like a whole bunch of floof to it.
Yeah, I will
do
shout
feel
out
like
to
A 20-pound dog's weight almost varies. Like a 20-pound French bulldog's really heavy because they're so dense, but a 20-pound like Shetland sheepdog, because they're 90% floof, seems very light.
yeah, at some point a baby Great Dane is also going to be like, oh, you're not that heavy because like they're so lanky and weird.
They're so lanked out.
Yeah, stretched. I was gonna say shout out to the Galar region for making my favorite version of Meowth.
I really want Perrserker to be good. I've tried it in several different formats. Steely Spirit is a very cool ability. I've tried Perrserker Zacian in like 6 different formats.
What if I wish we'd given it like Steelwork or something, Delmize's ability.
It's already a steel type. It gets
I know,
stab
but
on
more
steel
power.
moves.
More power to steal.
Yeah, but
more.
boosting, well, it has that. Steely Spirit boosts its attacks and its allies' steel attacks by 50%.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was it. That was the thing. I forgot the
Yeah, that's why.
ability.
So, like, yeah, you give yourself and your partner basically a choice band or choice specs on steel moves. It's like on paper, it with Zacian, it's got fake out and U-turn. Should be good.
But it just isn't.
What's stopping it?
Incineroar.
Oh, okay. Incineroar.
And now a thing called Chiyu.
Yeah.
A
So,
thing called fire types.
So, a couple of the fun bits of decks that I like about Berserker. So we only have one dex entry for Berserker, because I think it's only really for Sword and Shield.
It's in Gen 9 though.
Okay, I
Fair.
haven't seen
Hanging
its
out.
entries.
Let me go pull it up. I'll see
I
what I
can't
can
see
find.
its Gen 9 entries, but we know that its Iron Helmet is actually just hardened hair, which hair is a defense mechanism that all critters, humans, all do use hair to protect themselves to varying degrees of success. And then also Berserker's claws are retractable. They or no, they aren't retractable. Oh, it says that their claws can form daggers when extended, which hints at a nature of being able to retract and whatever the opposite word of retract is.
Oh, this thing's
Extract?
stats are worse than I thought. Okay, that's why it's bad.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely a viable spice pick in Pokemon Go battling. But also still not the best.
So before we move on, I do want to post the art I found for Perrserker and one of the card art. Like, look at him, he's just a little guy.
Yeah.
Look
Oh
at
yeah.
him.
I
He's
have
still
that card.
happy.
Yeah.
Like,
He found all
if
the
you look him up
coins.
in the anime, he looks violent. This is like, no,
He's a little guy.
he's just
Yeah.
trying to help you. Just trying to get you some money. He's a cool
And he
dude.
I like his moves of feeling fine and treasure rush.
Yeah, man. I'm not here to raid your town and pillage your village. I'm here to have some fun.
I'm feeling
Go get
fine.
some gold. Have a good time.
So back to moving on our cats. I figure we could touch on Skitty and Purugly because, like you said, Lucas, whoever writes these hates cats. Um, Now Purugly is I think a pretty interesting cat because it actually manipulates its own body to make itself more intimidating. So I think it uses its hair to cinch its waist and puff up
I
its
think it uses
chest.
its tail.
Its tail? Okay.
Because if I remember correctly, in Pokemon Battle Revolution, which was a great spin-off game, where like the animations, it was like how Coliseum had very elaborate animations. When you KO'd Purugly, it's like tail, girdle, corset, whatever it is, like let's go, and then it's like fat, and then it as its pain.
I mean, Glameow does have a really long tail, and Purugly's tail is not as long, so that might make sense.
I mean,
But
sorry, I was gonna say it's similar to how cats will actually change their body to look bigger than they actually are. Like when they're standing up on their edge, raising their hair up, you're trying to look bigger than you are. You're trying to lie your way out of it.
yeah, arcing their backs in that sort of quintessential spooky cat Halloween carving on a pumpkin look.
They just want to show off, like back up. It's actually one of the oldest animal tactics in the book. Look bigger than what you are, and hopefully you live another day.
Works on some bears.
Works on
Absolutely,
something.
yeah. We see that throughout the animal kingdom. It's also cats. You'll see it, especially with house cats and stuff, with things like dogs, especially larger dogs. Part of it is recognizing that, and we see this with other animals too, even like the honey badger, where basically holding your ground, even when if it became just a full on fight, you're not going to win. But by acting like you're not worth messing with, the predator will like, well, they're not running when they should be, so there must be a reason why. And it'll cause predators to disengage from fights. Like you'll see a honey badger facing down a lion and not backing off. Even though the lion could very easily eat a honey badger. And you'll see similar things with like house cats and like I've seen the videos, you'll see videos of a house cat squaring up with like an alligator or a bear. And it's sort of the same principle. They know that if running would expose themselves more so than holding their ground.
Honey
So
badger don't care.
you stand there and you look big.
Now the other bits that I like about Purugly's dex entries is we know that it is a pro at stealing other Pokemon's nests. We don't really know, cats aren't known necessarily for stealing nests, but they are very effective bed thieves. If you ever see a cat sleeping on a dog's bed, it's a little tiny cat on a very large bed. It's very cute and adorable. I take so many photos of that with our cat and dog. But the one bit of or one action you might see a cat do that gets often misinterpreted by humans is what some might see as catnapping. So if you see a cat have a litter of kittens, it would not be unusual for another cat in the area to say come over and take some of the newborns away from their mother. And that isn't always a nefarious act. There could be something where the mother is having problems nursing or a lactation issue, and the other cat is taking them away to help or to give the mother a break because all parents need breaks sometimes. But they are not actively stealing the children here.
Yeah, that's very different from like lion behavior. Because with lions, if a male lion finds another pride and takes over, yeah, those kids they ain't gonna have a good time. But this is really interesting. I wonder if this is something that they picked up as we socialized them. You know?
I don't know, but it's an interesting little bit.
Okay.
So
Does Skitty and Purugly have any good Pokedex entries aside from bullying, puffing out chests, and being jerks?
no, they're just big bullies. Big bullies.
Typical.
So we'll move on to our last one, but Don, you're gonna hit us with our newest cat.
All right, yeah. So we will get into Chien Pao, our newest legendary cat. And yeah, let's get right to it. Also, I guess there is sort of an argument that Chien Pao is a weasel or a ermine.
I'm pulling up a
given-
picture of Chien Pao to I
That's
don't think so.
way too big. Way too big.
Yeah,
Well, it's
but
not
look
about
at his
size,
shiny
like
form.
body
Look at
length,
look at his
everything.
shiny form and his snakiness.
That is a snow leopard, my guy.
Cover up the fangs with your hand, and then look at his body and his head.
That is a snow leopard,
That's
my
snow
guy.
leopard. He's got whiskers. Well, I guess ferrets have whiskers. Do they have retractable claws?
No, but his claws aren't retracted.
Yeah, they are. They get the
Anyway,
little
okay.
nubbies.
Now, for all intents and purposes, he is a cat, and I'm just saying, but that's occasionally an argument I've heard make because of how noodly his body is,
Okay.
and because his shiny is terrible compared to the other four or other three Ruin guys.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like
Look,
if you look
he's
at like
brown.
shiny Chien Pao, which makes me like the argument for the stoat and ermine, because stoats in the winter are turn into ermines and have a white coat, and the rest of the time they're brown.
That's honestly the more convincing argument. But
That's a little better. But
still
still
snow
no.
leopard.
Yeah,
Anyway, so
that's
so
cat.
for Chien Pao, we're gonna talk about Chien Pao. We're gonna talk about saber-toothed cats. We're talking about Smilodons, and everything goes wrong with it. But really, Chien Pao isn't the cat. The actual Pokemon is the only thing of this that's actually the Pokemon is the fangs. So if you look at the Pokédex entry for Chien Pao, it says the hatred of those who perished by the sword long ago has clad itself in snow and become a Pokemon.
That's like how Ting Lu is the
All
vessel and
all
not
four all
yeah.
four of the treasures of ruin are the item is controlling the thing. So Chien Pao, if you look at its fangs too, you see how they're mismatched because they're the two pieces of a broken sword. But so Chien Pao, we'll say saber-toothed cat, snow leopard, whatever. So saber-toothed cats, are an extinct group of felines, and it's sort of a larger group, the Smilodons, which were like a genus of cats, totally extinct. And within that, there was several different groups. There were the saber-toothed cats, or the Smilodons, which fell under what they call the dirk-toothed cats. There were also the scimitar-toothed cats, and the what was the other one? They're the false saber-tooths. So the saber-toothed cats had two long, upper canines like that, which were actually very fragile, which is kind of surprising. Because you would have like you sort of see them because the saber-toothed cat was a much bulkier cat than most modern predatory cats. I guess like you could say it's almost it's closest to something like maybe like a male lion, like much more heavy bodied given the bone structure we found.
Now, on the note of the weaker teeth, I remember that there were some paleo artists who had a thought of what if saber-toothed tigers looked a little more like this? Where it's in the Discord where you see like they have jowls.
Yeah, I think the jowls is maybe a more accurate modern interpretation. Compared to
Look is
some of
cool,
the
but it's more right.
I think the jowls makes a lot of sense. But as their sort of teeth got longer and a little more fragile, their bodies got heavier to sort of compensate because now the teeth became more and more for like the killing blow and less for the like grabbing on and holding or things like that, like you would see with like a wolf or some more modern cats. All the members of the Smilodonti have like their teeth are very long, slender canines with very little serration, which you see in Chien Pao as well. I mean, it's a sword, so it's different, but you get what I mean. And there's sort of three members of the Smilodons. There's the Gracilis, Fatalis, and what's Populus, I think is the other one. Of the three, the Populus was the largest. I think reaching like 800 pounds. Yeah, and that was down in South America. Oh yeah, so yeah, the Greek meaning of a Smilodon basically means like scalpel or two-edged knife because their teeth were sort of double-sided.
That's one heck of a name. I'm into it.
Yeah, sick name. And then it's like all the prefixes or suffix names too. You know, Fatalist, Gracilis, and Populus or no, sorry, it was Populator or yeah, Populator.
Populator.
Which does not mean what you would think it would mean. It actually means like destroyer.
I'm sorry. How do you spell it? Popularis?
Populator.
Smilodon popular. Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah,
Man,
it
that's
translates to
terrifying.
the destroyer or he who brings devastation.
Classic.
And name my if I ever do own a cat, I'm getting that as the name.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the Smilodons, saber-toothed tigers, which were actually not really related to tigers at all, other than just sort of being in the Felidae family. We're all sort of New World critters, all North and South America. Like I said, the largest one was down in South America. 485 to about 960 is sort of the projected weight for it. So by far the largest. S. gracilis was the smallest at about 120 to 220 pounds. And then Fatalist was sort of in the middle at 350 to 620. And if we look at Chien Pao's size and weight, he's 6'3" and 335. I mean, that's obviously length, but 335 kind of puts him in like the mid tier. So we would assume he's a Fatalist or maybe a really, really big Gracilis.
I mean, again, they got the cat sizes right. I'm sorry. Did no one else care that they get the sizes and weights almost right for once?
This is rare for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And I will say, Chien Pao's body does not match up with what we know about the bone structure of the Smilodons. Like I said, they were a lot bulkier because they were a very, very much a short burst ambush predator, which is something we see with modern big cats as well. For the most part, they're not really running down prey. They're getting in close using stealth and then a quick burst of speed. And the Smilodon was probably no exception. It's heavy body. They could use that like its mass and its bulk to sort of bring the prey down, and then a quick killing strike with the fangs.
Sneaky buddies.
Oh my, yes. Hang on. I think I
and
was able to
most of them
find
went
it.
extinct about 10,000 years ago, sort of with the general die off of the North American megafauna. They needed like large prey items to survive, given their hunting style. So like the smaller, more agile things like I guess pronghorn antelope are an extant species from that era that are still alive. Were probably just too quick for them to really get, or not really worth the effort. So the loss of the larger prey species at the same time period sort of related to them dying out.
It's one of those things where people like to blame humans a lot of the time. It's very easy card to play. Like, yeah, the humans came in there and they killed them all. Like, honestly, it's just how it goes. Sometimes you just lose the big animals and there's not much you can do about it. I think we can wrap this one up. We had a lot of fun doing this. And Chris, thanks so much for bringing the topic. I like doing animals everyone knows because you can like all right, let's skip the nitty gritty. Y'all know what a cat is. Let's talk about some Pokemon.
Cats. Well,
Yeah.
While we wrap up, Lucas, this weekend, GalaxyCon, Lucas and I will have 2 panels. If you are going to it, come say hi. It'll be a fun time.
Yes, this episode would have hopefully come out like 4 hours before our panel. So if you're hearing this, run, drive, run. We're going to be doing talks on the Pokemon of Paldea, and we're going to be doing a revamped version of Would You Survive in the Pokemon World. These were talks we actually worked on last year that I was able to save and upgrade a bit. This year in Dragon Con, which me and Don will be doing, these are going to be the new talks I worked on. And if you've never seen it before, I got some real fancy PowerPoint skills.
He
It's
does.
true.
It's great.
It's true.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, everybody.